guys, I'm Becky, my channel's What Beck Sews. Welcome back if you're a subscriber and welcome if you're new. Today's vlog is all about Make 9, my Make 9 makes from 2024 and my Make 9 plans for 2025. I like to incorporate them both into the same video because I think that just makes sense. Make 9 is basically a personal challenge that you set for yourself that is predominantly picking 9 patterns that you want to get sewn up or knitted up, because it's quite big in the knitting community as well, by the end of 2025. It's a way of keeping you grounded, and when you're feeling overwhelmed you can go back to your plans. Now, a lot of people do it differently. You can do Make 9 where you may pick different techniques that you want to sew up. You may pick different fabrics that you want to get sewn, and last year I picked 3 garments, and then I picked 3 people, and then I picked 3 patterns. So you can do it your own way and tailor it to how you want to. So let's talk about 2024 first and what my Make 9 was. So I'll pop in here the picture or the grid that I had of the 9 things that I wanted to do, and I'll start from sort of the top left, I think it will be your side, over to the top right. I do have some notes in front of me just to remind me. So on my top grid I had athletic wear, a coat and knickers. So these were 3 sort of garments that I wanted to get sewn up across 2024, but didn't necessarily know the patterns that I wanted to use. Now, out of this line I only actually achieved 1 of these. So the athletic wear, I did buy the fabric for it. I picked some gorgeous fabric up from Fabric Godmother to make up some leggings. I've got it here just to show you. So this was the fabric that I picked up to make some active wear up, but I never actually got round to doing it. I was really struggling for exercise and being active last year with my fibromyalgia, so it was just one of those things that didn't get done, but hopefully it is something that will materialise this year. It's not on my plans this year, but it is something that will materialise this year. The next thing on my list I did actually get sewn, and that was a coat pattern. So I really wanted to branch my skills into making a coat. I'd never made any kind of coat before, and I chose the Nova coat. Now, I actually did this right at the beginning of the year. I made this beautiful red Nova coat that I bought the fabric from Barry's Fabric in Birmingham. It was like a soft wool effect, but it wasn't wool. I mean, it was like £6 a metre. It was really inexpensive, and it's a really vibrant red that suits me. So I'll pop some pictures in here of the actual finished garment of what I made. I used a lining that I also got from Barry's. It was a viscose, but it was a very slippy viscose, and it was, I think it was a viscose satin, and it was like a zebra print, so it had a real bang of a contrast in the sort of centerpiece. And I love this coat. I've worn it lots over the year, and I'm really pleased that I actually made this up and set this as a goal for me to do. The next thing on my list, again, I bought the pattern for this but didn't actually get it sewn up, and that was some knickers. I really wanted to sort of branch out into starting to sew some of my own underwear. The majority of my wardrobe is me made, apart from a few pairs of trousers and all of my underwear. I have the odd ready to wear dress, but most of it is me made, and I was just disappointed that I didn't get this one sewn up. So I actually bought in September the Tilly and the Buttons Iris Knickers pattern. I bought it when I went to Scotland, but just didn't get around to sewing it up. So it's there in my plans to do, and hopefully it's something that I will get done in the coming year. So as we move down to the second line, I've got the Sew Me Something dressing gown. Now, again, this wasn't successful. I didn't even attempt to make this. I didn't even buy the pattern. I had in my head that I wanted to make this dressing gown. I fell in love with the pattern when I saw it online, and I think because I didn't have the pattern, it was just one of those things that never materialized. Now, what I will say is at the end of last year I ended up purchasing the Helen's Closet, I want to say Artibus robe. that could be completely wrong. I'll pop the name on the screen. But I have now bought that, and actually I've sent it off to be printed. And I'm currently debating whether I make one up in a lightweight fabric or I buy some terry toweling to make it up in a sort of more snuggly, sort of towely type fabric. I haven't decided, but I have got the pattern now. So whilst I didn't make that one, it was still very much in my mind that a dressing gown was something I really wanted to make. So I have now bought a pattern. So I suppose it's not a finished article, but it is progress on what I've set my mind to as part of the Make 9 challenge. So if you move along to the middle one, now this is the Winnie pants by Made for Mermaids. Now the Winnie pants, I did make these. I don't have any pictures of them because they were a complete disaster. I think I said at the beginning of the year that I tried them, they were too big. Well, I then went ahead and made another pair when I was at a sewing retreat at the beginning of the year, and they were terrible. Absolutely terrible. Again, they just came out too big, they just didn't fit me right, and they didn't get worn, and they went straight in the bin. And I never revisited the pattern after that. That was the second pair that I'd altered the sizing on, and I just couldn't get them to fit. And I think it was more me because I've made other Made for Mermaid patterns up. This particular one just wasn't working for me. So I put it down to user error, but it was made. It just wasn't successful, and I'm really sorry, but I don't have a picture of it to show you. I think I've got a picture of a pair that I made that I wore, but they were definitely far too big. So the next thing that was on my list was the wide leg pants by Peppermint magazine. Now I'm going to count this as a make, even though I didn't make that particular pattern. I did make another pair of wide leg pants, but that was because the Tilly and the Buttons Thea trousers came out. Now I'll pop a picture in here of the finished article, but these were by no means a success. And if you watch my recent year in review, you will know why. For some reason, I'd spent a lot of time trialing this pattern to get the fit right. I had to do a full belly adjustment because I've got quite a prominent belly area. And when I finally got the fit right and decided to sew it all up in the proper fabric, which was my gorgeous denim fabric from Fabric Godmother, I managed to not catch in a pocket, and from not catching in that pocket I had to then pull the fabric over because there was no way I could change it without unpicking the entire garment, which I wasn't going to do. And then that undid all the work that I did for the belly adjustment, which really irritated me because I could see the pull on the front, which I'd got rid of through all of the trial and error that I'd done. And then I messed up the waistband, and I've unpicked the waistband, and the jeans are currently sitting up above me, ready to see if I can redo it. But now I've lost a bit of weight, I'm not entirely sure that they're going to fit me at all. So it wasn't a success, but it was something that I want to say I made. I made a similar pattern, and I chose that one over the wide leg Peppermint magazine ones because they were Tilly and the Buttons. And if you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know I'm a massive fan of Tilly and the Buttons. So the bottom line on my Make 9 were about sewing for people. Now I class myself as, I know a lot of people don't like this phrase, but a selfish sewer. I don't mean it as it sounds. I don't like sewing for other people. I like sewing for me. So I really wanted to pick 3 people in my life. Well, it was actually 4 people in my life because both my girls are in one picture. And I wanted to make sure that I sewed something for them over the year. And my dad, I haven't got a picture because he's the one in the bottom left hand corner. I haven't got a picture of what I made my dad, but for Christmas I shared with you guys through Vlogmas that I'd made him a straight tee by Ellie and Mac. It's just a straight fit tee. It goes right up to an XXX 7XL, and my dad's quite a big guy, so it fits him. He's got a really uniquely shaped tummy as well because he had an operation that went really wrong and everything burst, and then when they tried to put him back together they didn't do very well, so he's got like a square shaped belly from where he's had it packed with a load of gauze. So yeah, I made that for him. It was successful, but unfortunately I don't have a picture to show you, but I can tick that one off my list. The next person that I sewed for, and I do have a picture of my lovely partner in this particular shirt. So we went away to Benidorm last year for a friend's 60th birthday, and I made a shirt out of a fabric that I had designed with basically our friend's face all over it. But you couldn't tell from a distance. It wasn't until you got up close you could see. And then what we did was we bought that shirt back. So I made it for my partner. It fit my partner. partner, and then we bought that shirt back and we took it to be signed to the party that he had here in the UK, where obviously his wider friendship circles were able to attend, and we got everybody that was there to sign this, and the people that we knew wouldn't be at that event that were in Benidorm, we got them to sign it as well, and that's waiting actually to be framed and gifted to him. So I think that was a very successful make, and it wasn't in the end just for my partner, it was also for our friend. So that one I really feel like I can tick off the list, and I really like that shirt pattern on my partner, and I think I will make it again. It's a McCall's pattern, and I'll pop the number on the screen because I cannot remember what it is, but it's one that is definitely my go-to. I've made it for him a couple of times now. So in the bottom right hand corner we have my two beautiful girls, Jasmine and Willow. So Willow and Jasmine basically had I haven't got them in here, where are they? I thought I had them in here. They both had pajama bottoms made for them at Christmas, and they were made out of this gorgeous fabric that I have here. I just don't have the finished articles. I thought I bought them in, and this is a Lady McElroy brushed cotton, and you know what, this fabric's gorgeous, and I've got enough left to make myself some, which I intend on doing before I go away on my retreat later on this month. So that was Make 9 2024. Now that means that I managed to, if we include the pattern that I switched, I managed to get 6 items actually sewn up. So I would say for me that's probably my most successful Make 9 so far. You know, I'm not religious. I don't want to stick to this necessarily. It's a goal that I aim towards, but it does keep me grounded, and it is something I do reflect on every year. And I know certain people don't like being tied to certain patterns, and I completely get that because I am impulsive and I change. And if something new and shiny comes along, I will go ahead and sew up that something new and shiny. So let's talk about my Make 9 2025 plans. Now I thought about this really carefully. I thought, do I really want to make up 9 patterns? Do I want to stick with the format that I did last year? Do I want to come up with new techniques, or do I want to come up with fabrics, knowing that I really want to start attacking my stash this year? I have a lot of holidays and a lot of trips coming up, so my stash is very appealing because I don't want to buy too many new fabrics. But this is me, and I will. So I decided not to go for fabrics. I decided not to go for the format that I did last year. I decided to go with the standard format, the format that is picking 9 patterns. Now I have been quite clever in the way that I've done this, because I do have some plans that will appear on here, and I'm not going to talk about which ones they are, that I really want to get sewn up at the sewing retreat that I'm going to in Thurklow at the end of January. So in a way, I've been quite clever because I've thought about immediate plans, and I've also stuck a couple of things on here that I've made before. Well, I've stuck one thing on here that I've made before, and then I've also carried over one from last year that I have the pattern for. So let's talk about the way that I've structured them on here. So I'll pop in the picture here of all of the patterns that I've chosen. So number 1 is the Plateau Joggers by Plateau Cor patterns. Now I've had my eye on this for a very long time. I've always had the Stella pants by or the Stella joggers by Tilly and the Buttons. That has been my go-to pattern, but the more and more I see this particular pair, they're very similar to a pair that I wear that I got from Primani ages ago, and actually I wear those ones more than I ever do. Primani, for example, is Primark, in it's a nickname that is given in the UK. It's just a very cheap fashion house to go and shop at, and you can pick up a pair of joggers for about £6. Just so you know, for those of you that are not from the UK and probably don't understand the slang that I'm using when I call it Primani. So Plateau Cor Joggers are very similar to this. I like the detail that they've got. I've had a quick look at the pattern instructions because I bought this one again when I went to Scottish Frock Tales. I bought the physical pattern, which I don't normally do, and the pocket detail really confuses me on how I'm supposed to be sewing that up. I've looked at this instruction a couple of times. I have this pattern cut out in a grey French terry. Sorry, I was just looking to see if it was behind me to show you. In a grey French terry, just as a toiling piece, but I actually have some gorgeous burgundy fabric that I really want to make this up in, because I want to make a matching top to go with it. And I would like to try and get these done before I go on my retreat, because I'd like to take them with me for my retreat. So that's the Plateau Joggers. That's item number 1 that I want to get sewn up. The next thing I'd like to get sewn up is something I've made a number of times before, and I know I want to make another one. I've lost a bit of weight. I think I will continue to lose a bit of weight because what I'm doing seems to be quite successful, which means that I'm going to want to make another one of these up to enter into my wardrobe. So I'm kind of pragmatically picking a pattern here that I know and I love, that I will want to keep and retain in my wardrobe. The difference with this particular Zadie jumpsuit, every single one I've made has been heavy print and bold and really out there. So this particular one, just to put a different spin on what it is I want to make, I want to make a Zadie jumpsuit that's in a plain fabric, and I want to do it so I can wear it to work. So I have lots of different Zadies. I think I've got 4 or 5 Zadie jumpsuits, and I'll pop in some pictures of the ones that I've actually got. But they're all in a print, and I really, really, really want one for work. So I either want a green sort of plain one, I've got an idea in my head of what I'd like, or I'd like a black one. Just because I think that it's one that I could wear all the time, and I do love wearing black, and I love then layering black up like I've got today with a colour that's just really vibrant and out there. There will never not be bold colours in my life, put it that way. But if I can avoid making another one in a bold print, and that's not to say I won't make another one in a bold print, but if I can, that would be really good. So that's a Zadie jumpsuit. You'll also see I have popped back on there the wide leg pants by Peppermint magazine. And the reason I've done that is because the Theas were unsuccessful. So I really, really, really want to try the wide leg pants. And I know that when we were at my sewing social, the lovely Adele, who's Sew for Serenity here and one of my best friends, she made a lot of toiles, again, like I did for the Theas. And all the changes that she'd made, she compared, once she'd made those changes to the pattern piece, that pattern piece to somebody else's wide leg pants. And they seemed to, they would have fit her straight out the packet. Now, she made slightly different adjustments to me, so I don't know whether that would be the case for me, but I genuinely think that is a pattern that I still want to make up. It's still on my list, and I have got the pattern, so it's something that hopefully I'll get round to again. I don't think it'll be this side. I think it will be the back end of the year that I look at making them. The other one that's reappeared on my list is the Iris Knickers. Now, in the last Make 9 grid, I popped on Knickers, any kind, didn't give a pattern. I have bought the Iris pattern. This will just hopefully help me go back to it. Now, I've actually bought all the elastic and everything, and I've still got another couple of days before I go back to work, and it might be something I decide to tackle in that time, but we'll just wait and see. I'm not 100% sure. So the Iris Knickers by Tilly and the Buttons is my next pattern. Then a brand new pattern to me. This is the Puff and Pencil square neck dress. Now, I will be honest, I saw this from Georgie, who is Hey So Sister. I'm sure it was Georgie, Hey So Sister. Was it Georgie? I think it was Georgie. She made this in a gorgeous red fabric. I mean, it was stunning. I saw a picture of it on Instagram, and it completely inspired me there and then to go and buy this pattern. And I've never bought or made a puff and pencil pattern before. And when I looked at the options, you buy, the one that you buy in as it is just a sleeveless piece. Okay. Then you buy different versions of sleeves that you want to do with it. So I've bought the actual square neck pencil dress, and then I've bought the balloon sleeves because I quite like that kind of Mediterranean look and feel that it gives. Now, Georgie did this in a red fabric, and I have every intention of doing it in a red fabric. I have a gorgeous red linen sitting in my stash ready to go, because this will be a very sort of spring summer dress, and I've gone for the longer sleeves so it can carry me spring, summer, and slightly into the early part of the autumn months. So I definitely want to make a red one up. I definitely want to give this pattern a go, but I've got a feeling it will be one that I absolutely love. I do like a square neck on me, but it's got a sheared back to it, and that sheared back just gives that shaping, and it comes up over the bust and then it comes out from under the bust. So just on your high waist, not quite on your waistline. And I really like that shape on me. It's a perfect point on my figure because it doesn't hug any other part of my body. So yeah, that is my next pattern that I'd really like to get sewn up, and I'm really excited about doing that one. Now, I did send off to get that printed from CLC Prints, and they have refunded me for 2 pieces, and that's an instruction booklet and a pattern, and I've got a feeling it's that one, and I don't know whether it's because the format's wrong. They didn't actually pop anything in there. So that'll arrive next week, and when I see which one it is, if it is that one, because they haven't told me, I will contact them to try and understand why they weren't able to print it. But I could always print it on A4 when I'm next in the office. So the next one on my list, again, another new to me pattern, is the Ruby Overalls by Helen's Closet. Now, Helen's Closet, I quite like her patterns. I like the fit. She's a curvaceous woman herself, and she designs her patterns very cleverly, and I do genuinely tend to think they work really well on curvy women. Now, I like the fact that the Ruby Overalls have got the elastic in the back. Now, I've made a couple of pairs of her Yanta overalls, and I like the construction of them, and I haven't really worn them masses, and I think it's because I just feel like they haven't got a lot of shape to them, whereas these have got perfect shape. Now, I do think these are more made for the spring summer months in the lighter weight fabrics, because you're putting that elastic in the back. So I'll need to think carefully about what fabric it is I want to use up to make these, but that is definitely a must on my list, and I am really looking forward to seeing if I like the way that they fit as much as I think I will. And I think it will be easier to get the fit right on them as well because of that elastic. So the next thing on my list is the Spindrift jacket by Helen's Closet. Now, if you guys watch the lovely Tamlin, who is sewn on the Tyne here on YouTube and over on Instagram, she is doing a special thing this year with her vlogs, and she is focusing on a different pattern that's slightly more involved make. Now, this month's make is actually the Spindrift jacket, so I'm very keen to watch this series because I purchased this as soon as it came out. I fell in love with this pattern. Now, I really want to make the longer version, and I want to make it in this. Let me just try and pull this out, because this is one of the ones I am planning on taking to the retreat with me to make. Now, this is a denim that I got from Rainbow Fabrics. I bought it when the Knitting and Stitching show was on here in the UK, and I just love this. Now, because it's got the lighter colour on it, which isn't very me, I have to be really careful in what I wear and how I wear it and how I style it. So I reckon that this, because let's face it, leopard print's quite neutral, will go with most things that I wear underneath. And I think this will make a really nice long version of that jacket. I'm not so sure if I'm going to try the Wel Pockets or not, but I do really want to make the one that's in the picture is the one I really want to make. And I think in that leopard print denim, it's going to look amazing. So yeah, that one hopefully should be a early part of the year make, and I kind of think that if I get stuck on anything, although her instructions are amazing, if I get stuck on anything, I will have people in the room to help me that include the lovely Cara, who is so mad, who is a font of all knowledge, the lovely Adele, who is so for serenity, who likes to follow instructions where I don't, so she'll probably read them and tell me I'm being an idiot and I just need to read the instructions. And then I've got Claire from Stitch Hem Sew, Michelle Sewing Bunny, Katie from Whatever Katie Sews. Loads of people are going to be there, and I can't wait. So if I get stuck, basically I'll have plenty of people to help me. The next thing on my list is the Hovea jacket. Now, the Hovea jacket is one that I've been trying to make for a while, and I actually have a toile cut out ready to go before I use my Minerva fabric. Now, I have a fabric that the lovely ladies at my sewing social bought me last year. If I can find a picture of it, I'll stick it in here. It's basically £42 a metre. I don't want to mess this up, but I do want to get it made up. It can't continue to sit there in my stash, languishing, ready, calling me. So the Hovea is an oversized jacket. I have sized down in my toile. I'm going to make up my toile, work out if that is the right size or if I need to size down again. And again, I think this is one I'm going to take with me on the retreat. Now, we're there from the Friday evening right through to the Monday. And last time I did this, I actually sewed from the Friday right through to the Monday, and I managed to walk away with 5 garments, including my Nova coat from last year's make 9 and the Bell dress. So there was a couple of involved makes there that I was able to walk away with. So I think that the Spindrift jacket and the Hovea jacket to take with me on this retreat, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about my plans, are definitely an idea. So yeah, that's there. Now the next one is an unusual one for me. This is a brand new pattern that I haven't bought, but I've seen and I really want to purchase. It's a pattern company that I've never sewn up with either. It's from Elle Stitch or Elle Stitch, and it's called the Flur Dress. So not the Fabric Godmother Flur Dress. This is the Elle Stitch Flur Dress. Now the thing I like about this, it's got a sort of gathered neckline. It comes in tailors just under the bust, and I've got a ready to wear dress that no longer fits me that this is very similar to. And there's a slight bit of gathering as you come down under the bust as well, and it shapes around your bust line. And then it's sort of like a fit and flare bottom, so it's slightly fitted, but it's also got that flare, so it doesn't hone in on any of your lumps and bumps. And I just thought it was a really interesting pattern. It's definitely what will probably be an involved make, and I imagine there's a zip on there, and as part of my goals for 2025, invisible zippers are one of those goals. So yeah, it's one of those things I need to tackle, but I really fancy getting this sewn up. So that was the final pattern on my make 9. So there's some good plans there. I think it will be an interesting year to see if I manage to get them done. I'd like to beat 6 next year if I can. And I can see with the joggers, the Zara jumpsuit, the iris knickers, the puff and pencil skirt, the ruby overall, spindrift and Hovea, I will definitely beat that goal, because some of those plans are fairly soon, or fairly imminent. That's how you say it. So that's it for 2024 review, 2025 goals. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you do like my content, don't forget to click that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And normality will resume. We'll be back to Friday Sews format and then the odd bits in between. So thank you very much for watching today. Take care, guys, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye.